Hello, I'm Sarah the Gallifreyan Ravenclaw. So this is a bit of a review of the Children in Need sketch and an update on how I'm going to do things from now on, and addressing something else that other people have talked about but I think just needs to be recorded of what's going on at the moment because it's not working. So I'll start with the Children in Need sketch. So apparently Russell said in an interview before that it's not a comedy sketch. I don't know what interview, I didn't see this, but that made some people be surprised by how the fact it was still comedy. So I think people were more expecting something serious, whereas I'd take that as more serious than Curse of Fatal Death, which isn't that hard because that was absolute nonsense. So the sketch, I loved it. It was just a quick few minutes of light-hearted fun. Since we first saw the Dalek, I went, where's the plunger? So, I've got to admit, they'd be more dangerous with the claw. So I think the Doctor did do a good thing by making them less dangerous. And then, how many anagrams of Khaled can you get without ending up with Dalek? He even said Adlek. Come on, you're only 2 letters off. So then, obviously, the Doctor. So this was the first bit we'd seen of the 14th Doctor. And I've got to be honest, didn't seem much different from 10. I think that's been fairly clear throughout the adverts and trailers and everything since, that he's not that different, and as this is technically the first scene, there might be minor differences, but he's still basically 10. And also I'm glad it did finally officially bust that theory that lots of people kept spreading that I never understood why people believed. There was a theory going around that the Doctor had memory loss and didn't remember anything since he was 10. That was literally based on the fact that in an interview, David once referred to the Doctor as 900. That was people's entire logic. People started going, oh, he's lost his memory. No, just David forgot. He messed up in an interview. Don't read into things that much. Because he did say the line about an hour ago, I was a brilliant woman. Which I know some people didn't like the fact that he said a brilliant woman. Because Jodie was a brilliant Doctor. And the hour is because it's been the comics have happened. I haven't personally been reading them. I've got the DWMs with them in, but I think I missed the first one. So I've sort of not been reading them that much because it doesn't make sense without the first one. And I think they are going to release the full thing at some point. But it probably leads on quite well from that because that does contain Daleks. So it does lead on from that, but it also didn't matter that I haven't been reading them because it's only been an hour since the regeneration and he just crashed onto Skaro. What Doctor doesn't crash the TARDIS on their first trip? Since when has a New Who Doctor not crashed the TARDIS on their first trip? Every single one has. Technically Eccleston didn't, but then we didn't see him straight after regeneration. So now, does this count as canon? Canonically, has the Doctor named the Daleks been the reason they have a plunger and given them the word exterminate? There's a reason he said that timelines and canon were being disrupted. Because in usual Doctor Who fashion, it's a paradox. He called them a Dalek because he knows it was the Daleks. He gave them a plunger because he knew they had a plunger. He said exterminate because that's what they say. Standard Doctor Who paradox. So I've said about the Doctor, but what about the other cast? So when Mawaan Rizwan was announced, my reaction honestly was, who? And I looked him up. I've never seen anything he's in before. And then when Davros came in, I went, I do know him. But I personally wasn't placing him as Davros. And that's probably because I hadn't really realised about the actor who played Davros. Because in Doctor Who, I know that there's 5 people who are all the aliens. If you look up Paul Casey, I checked his IMDb. He has been in more episodes, according to IMDb, than all the New Who companions bar Clara. And even then, that's 2 episodes. So that's Oswin in Asylum of the Daleks and Victorian Clara. He equalled normal Clara, modern Clara, and even beats 2 of the Doctors, Eccleston and Jodie. So I assumed that Davros was someone like him, maybe not exactly him, but someone like him was the body and then someone else did the voice. So I'd never really paid attention to who played him, if you like. So I, during the sketch, was trying to place him, and I worked out he'd been in Sarah Jane Adventures, but I managed to get the wrong character. I had Erasmus Darkning in my head, and he was actually the Nightmare Man. If you've seen Sarah Jane, you'll know what I mean and why I had Erasmus in my head. He's basically the same character, but it has been years since I've watched Sarah Jane Adventures, so I'm not surprised I got it wrong. But one of the things that annoyed me, trying to look all this up, was there's no credits. Like, okay, not showing them in the Children in Need show. The version on iPlayer, the version on YouTube, they're not even in the description. Like, we need credits, because I've seen people saying, oh, was that Murray Gold music? Who was the voice on the tannoy? Like, how are we supposed to know these facts if there's no credits? So they announced Castavilian beforehand, and we know who the Doctor is. And obviously most people recognised Davros. I had to look it up. But we still want to know these geeky facts, and they weren't even answered on Unleashed. And then, yes, the TARDIS interior. So when he opened the TARDIS, you saw Jodie's console behind him. Now, we know there's no way that Jodie's console is in the 60th. It was demolished. I know, I was literally there the day before it got demolished. I think actually it was half demolished that evening. So for the 60th, he can't be in it. So it's either he, straight after he lands sort of near Donna, that he gets locked out while it's resetting as usual, or we just never see the interior. And even like the TARDIS, when the TARDIS runs away, maybe when it comes back it has a different interior. Or he has Shooty's interior. So I doubt he has his own, but maybe that's where some of the Disney money went, was making another one. Although I still think they could easily just have 10s. It's like in the 50th, he went in the TARDIS and it changed to his console, getting confused while it saw him. So why wouldn't it look at him and go, oh yeah, I know your console, and give him 10s? So I'm not going to talk too much about the Davros stuff, because I know there's a big argument about it. I think having the early Davros for this made sense, certainly factoring in it's a charity night. And to be fair, I don't think I'd ever heard anyone until all these things saying, oh, it's pre-accident Davros. I don't think I'd ever really heard any reference to there being an accident. I think I'd kind of assumed he'd just got old and then, a bit like John Lumick, sort of created the Daleks as a way for them to survive. But obviously in this we saw he'd been doing that beforehand. And when people started talking about an accident, I haven't seen Genesis the Dalek, and I actually did some Googling and went, oh, that was his first episode. Because I know in that the Doctor's the reason he loses his hand, I think. So I kind of assumed that the accident was the Doctor's fault in a previous episode. But I didn't realise that that's the earliest Davros we've met, bar the boy in Magician's Apprentice. And apparently Russell was planning on having in Journey's End a flashback to the accident. So he's still got that scene in his head. So if Davros now appears in the future looking like that, and is supposed to be later on than the other appearances, so like it's set after Genesis of the Daleks, or even set after whatever his most recent appearance was, and yet he now looks like that again, there's going to be people complaining. Just think what happened when the Timeless Child happened. There's going to be people annoyed. Whether or not it's the right choice, I'm not saying, but there will be people who will not like that. So to be fair, probably, apart from I'd still like to see that scene of the accident, I think that's it. I don't think we need to see Davros anymore. I think he's done. I think Magician's Apprentice was quite a good end. If you're trying to make this a good jumping on point, referencing something from Classic isn't going to be much help. I know technically the Celestial Toymaker's from Classic, but he's not that ingrained in the history of the show. I don't think Time Lords are going to be mentioned much at all after this. Certainly once we start Shooty's era. I don't think the Time Lords are going to be mentioned really at all. And obviously he's going to just go around saying, I'm the last one again, isn't he? So on to Unleashed. Because it was a good little sort of pilot taster. bar the fact that iPlayer has gone weird with it and is saying it's 15 minutes and then you watch the entire thing and it still tells you have 5 minutes left. I don't know if anyone else has found that, but that's what mine's doing. On iPlayer it says I've still got 5 minutes left when I finished the entire episode. But it was a good test run to give you an idea what it's like, and sort of, because you don't need a 15-minute program to discuss a 5-minute clip, it gave them a lot of time to sort of explain what the program is, and included the charity appeal at the end from us, obviously. And the thing that was good about this is, obviously, because this was filmed like halfway through season 1, got to get used to saying that, Stefan has done a lot of episodes by now. So he knew what he was doing by this point. So he's probably, I'm not going to say he's a bad presenter in the episodes in the 60th. He probably did a better job in that because he had the experience. He probably in the 60th ones didn't really know what he was doing. And that might be obvious when we watch them. I can't tell you because they're not out yet. But when you watch the 60th ones, you might as well go, oh, he doesn't really know what he's doing. But for this one, as a sort of pilot one, it was filmed so much later that he did. We know the exact filming date, so that's why I can say it was during season 1, because they sung David Tennant Happy Birthday. And that did finally answer the people who spent all that time theorising on his birthday. Because Georgia posted a picture on their social medias of him in costume and went, oh, he always dresses like this on his birthday. And people were raising eyebrows. So, no, he was doing something. And that clip is funny because they just sort of go, cue David, and he comes out all serious, ready to do the scene. And then goes, oh, and just bursts out laughing. And then he was even commenting on their harmonies. That's going to be an iconic clip. So, the other thing. I know I don't really do news updates, but this is something that I feel has been going on for so long, it kind of needs to be addressed now. All the mess with Disney Plus. So, the renumbering and all the confusion it's causing. So, as you can probably tell, I'm from the UK. I still live in the UK. So, Disney Plus isn't really an issue for me. I do actually have it anyway, but Doctor Who's not probably going to be on it. They still haven't actually even confirmed that, to be fair. But because it's on iPlayer, we don't need it in Disney Plus. But it's being a big issue for a lot of Whovians. So first there was the mess with the Whoniverse, because they did all this big announcement of the whole Whoniverse. And then they announce it and release it, and everyone goes, where is it? Oh, it's only on iPlayer. Right, you never said that. So that's obviously led to more people worrying about this sort of thing. So Ncuti's now been confirmed as he will start in season 1. Which lots of people had suspected. I'm not a fan, but I understand why. I understand why they've done it, but it does seem a bit weird. Because, like, look at this new show we're launching with these 3 specials. Oh, ignore the fact they're called the 60th anniversary. It's a new show. Don't worry. Huh? Like, what? Because they're not acknowledging New Who or even Classic. They're just all pretending it's never been on before. Now, I know you're probably saying, oh, well, they did the same in 2005. I was 4. I can't vouch for the marketing. And yes, it was called Series 1. But it had been 20 years without a series then. We're at like 13 months this time. It's barely been a year. And there was never it got cancelled and then came back, which it was last time. But then in New Who, they obviously had like Sarah Jane School Reunion and Time Crash happened quite early on. So with all the Donna and Mel, are they really going to try and pretend the last 2 eras never happened? And so the Whoniverse stuff on iPlayer. I haven't watched much Tales of the TARDIS. I started one and realised how long it was and didn't have time to finish it. Or I haven't seen many classic episodes anyway. I'm really bad at getting on with that. I've been trying to for years. And then there was like K9 Company, which I was very happy to see on there because I don't believe that's ever been on iPlayer before. It might have been when it was originally on, but I certainly have never seen it before. But then not offering all this for the international viewers is a big slap in the face. So everyone's been using America as the example. Probably because Disney's American. But like HBO still have the streaming rights for episodes prior to the 60th. I believe they have both Classic and New Who. Correct me if I'm wrong, they certainly have New Who. And that contract hasn't expired yet. They've got another year or two on it. And I believe the strikes have also caused negotiation problems. But if I was working for Disney and I was in charge of dealing with this is what I'd be doing. Start with New Who. Go country by country. Every single country in the entire world that they operate in. Have they ever had Doctor Who before? Who had the rights to it? Were they streaming it, or did they only have broadcast rights? Has their contract expired? What date does it expire if it's still valid? Once you have these answers for each country, then go to every country that the deal has already expired and go, we want the exclusive rights to New Who in this country. Sign here. For the countries that still have one, like America, so I don't know when the HBO one expires. Let's say it expires 31st of December 2024. I don't know when it does, but let's say that's the expiry date. From the 1st of January 2025, Disney have the exclusive rights at double the price of whatever they were paying before. Which would probably be quite feasible. They can just go, we'll double whatever they were paying. And HBO will probably go, yeah, we can't afford to fight that. They can have it. Then, once you've got that done for every single country, doesn't have to be you waited for those dates. Once you've got a contract in every single country, either valid from whenever or valid from the day the previous one expires, you do an announcement. Go, from 1st of October, we have New Who available in every country that doesn't already have it. Keywords. Then underneath, you say it will be available in Disney Plus by, 1st of October. It will be available in most countries on the 1st of October, and it will be available in all countries by the 1st of January, due to the current deals. Then below have a list of all the countries that aren't getting it on the 1st of October. So you say USA, still owned by HBO till 1st of January 2025, when we have it, basically. So you just do it like that. And then once you've done that for New Who, you do Classic, you do Torchwood, you do Sarah Jane, you do Class, everything. And then, like with Tales of the TARDIS, Russell, in the bottom of some Instagram comment, confirmed, see, it wasn't exactly easy to find, that Tales of the TARDIS isn't outside the UK because no Disney money went into it. Okay, why hasn't he gone? Who wants to buy it? And if Disney say, no, we're not interested. Okay, HBO, ABC, whoever else broadcast it in whatever country you're from. Do you want to buy it? Offer it at a reasonable price for them? Do they want it? I don't think many of them would say no. Let's be honest. I think if you offered it at a pretty low price, they'd take it. Like, I know Disney haven't put any money in it, so they aren't getting it. Doesn't mean they can't pay him for it. Like, it wouldn't go into Russell personally, but like pay Bad Wolf Productions for the rights. Because currently it's not available anywhere else. And if he's setting that precedent, there's going to be a problem. Same with Unleashed. Like, the first episode's out now, so if you're not in the UK, can you please tell me if it is available in Disney Plus? But seeing as the episode wasn't, I don't know why the Unleashed would be. So, are the Unleashed for the 60th going to be? Because Disney can't have put money into those Unleashed. Well, certainly not the original. They might have been able to in the post-production, which I believe they also did for the 60th. But they were only on set at the 60th. They weren't there paying for the cameraman to be there. That was coming out of Bad Wolf or BBC's pocket. So, is it possible that they're not going to have the ones for the 60th, but then they will for season 1? So then you miss the first 4 episodes? So then the confusion's over time zones and what time everything's releasing on Disney Plus. So time zones are confusing anyway. Most people will agree that. When you're abroad, you have to try and factor in, if you're calling back home, what time it is to not call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Everyone knows that that can be a nightmare. But, like, all the announcements said, the 60th will be available on the 25th. But if it's available on the 25th in Australia, It's not 6:30 here yet, and it doesn't start till 6:30 here. So that would mean Australia are getting it first. And I'm sure any Australians watching would go, yes, we want that. There's a problem. If someone at Disney messes up and it gets released an hour early because of daylight saving time, they mess up and put it an hour wrong, how many people will turn on a VPN and start watching it on Disney Plus? How many people in the UK will turn on a VPN to leave the UK and start watching it? Start watching it before it starts. And then they're not turning on their TV to BBC One. They're not watching it on iPlayer. Then the viewing figures drop. And BBC go, okay, this big relaunch didn't work. It's all flopped. Shelve it. We're not showing it again. Cancelled. All that footage of shooties going in the bin. Right. They're banking a lot on this. So if it was released on Disney beforehand, that's going to be a problem. Because the BBC will go, oh, it's a waste of time. It's still a BBC production. And there's another concern I've had for ages, which no one else seems to have addressed. Let's say that this wasn't the 60th, but Power of the Doctor. Just so it's an episode we've seen, so I can make references to it. How do you stop the minute it starts in the UK and it's available on Disney Plus around the rest of the world? You go fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Oh my god, it's David Tennant! Video. Post on social media. It started 5 minutes ago. How do you stop that? Let's say Shooty or Matt does turn up at the end of an episode. How do you stop people fast forwarding to the last 30 seconds to post spoilers online? Like, do Disney Plus have some sort of live stream feature where you can't fast forward past a certain point, where it's live, and that live be in sync with BBC? Maybe give or take a few seconds, but be basically playing at the same time as BBC and you can't fast forward past it. I don't know if Disney Plus has that feature. If they don't, then they probably can't release the episode until after it's finished in the UK. Which then gives an hour for people in the UK to spoil it for international viewers. So basically, these details are being forgotten every time. All these big announcements. Oh, we're releasing the Hooniverse. Oh, we forgot to say it's only on BBC iPlayer. Oh, we're doing this. Oh no, that's only on BBC iPlayer. Oh, it's all on the 25th. Sorry, but it's going to be the 26th in Australia if it's the same time. That sort of problem. Are Disney Plus planning on getting the whole Hooniverse? Are they planning on putting up New Who once they've got the rights to it in every country? It'd be nice for them to let us know they're trying to do that. That when HBO and everyone else's contracts have expired, they are taking it. But I said I'd release it once they have a majority. Like, if they've signed a contract in every country that doesn't have someone else with the rights, and the countries that do have someone else with the rights, they just have a contract from the day after, then announce it, release them in all the countries they can. And then it's available everywhere because the Americans still have it on HBO. And then from that date it moves to Disney. And there's one other thing. I know Who Culture have been talking about this because they're suffering from this problem. I had a conversation with someone in the comments section the day the Disney deal was announced of saying, I'm from the Republic of Ireland. We can't access BBC iPlayer. And it keeps saying UK and Ireland. Am I not going to be able to access it? And that's the thing. They haven't said it. All these announcements, it's UK and Ireland. I get Americans, and quite a few Brits, get confused with North and Southern Ireland. Southern Ireland is the Republic of Ireland. It is not in the UK. They cannot access BBC iPlayer. I think they do have a version of BBC One, but is it going to be on Disney Plus Republic of Ireland? Like I said, Disney's an American company. Brits get confused with it, let alone people from other countries. But, so I get the American person working on it at Disney doesn't get it. But someone from the BBC needs to have said that. They are perfectly aware that they cannot access BBC iPlayer. So they need to make sure that they're covering that. And I said, Who Culture have been addressing this because one of their presenters is from Southern Ireland. And currently, he doesn't even know if he's going to be able to watch the episodes. See, it's been all these tiny details that just slip through the cracks. They make this big announcement, everyone gets excited. And then you read the fine print. And it doesn't add up. And there's all these things missing. And there's all these confirmations that don't make any sense. Or it gets released and everyone goes, hang on a minute, where is it? How can the Star Beast be airing on the 25th the whole way around the world at the same time? Because it won't be the 25th in half the world. How are people from Southern Ireland supposed to watch it? Are Disney Plus ever planning on getting New Who? What do we call the new era? New Who? Modern Who and Disney Who are the ones I've heard currently. I bet they'll announce it now straight after I've recorded this, before I upload it, because I don't know whether I'm going to get it out tonight now. But these problems are glaringly obvious when you actually look into anything. So I said most of these don't affect me because I'm lucky I'm in the UK, I've got iPlayer. But even then, some people in the UK don't use iPlayer because you now need to have a TV license for it, and not everyone has a TV license. So confirmation of whether it's on Disney Plus for those people would be quite helpful as well. Letting us know whether it's going to be on Disney Plus in the UK as well. Because that's something people pointed out quite early. They said it was going to be exclusively on Disney Plus in the rest of the world and on BBC iPlayer in the UK. They never said it wasn't going to be on Disney Plus in the UK. So there's just all these questions that they've not answered. So let me know your thoughts both on the Children in Need special and the Disney Plus deal. If you're outside of the UK and you can give me any more information about what it actually is showing on Disney Plus at the moment. Like I've noticed on iPlayer it's now going to be a separate category. If you look up the programme page, it now has Doctor Who 2023 onwards, and the description for the other one now says till 2022, and from Christopher Eccleston to Jodie Whittaker. So it's going to be down as a separate category on iPlayer, which is just going to confuse more people. You go, oh, I'm looking for that new episode on iPlayer. They go, well, there's Series 1, Season 1, Season 1. Which one's the new one? They need to make that clearer as well. I hope when it actually appears it will be quite obvious because it will probably have a massive picture of Shooty. But for the more casual viewers just sort of skimming iPlayer looking for it, they're going to have a problem with that. They're going to need something more obvious. Hopefully, if we've come up with a name by then for New Who, they can actually label it that. It might be called like the Whoniverse is Who or something. They could have it like with the Whoniverse logo or something, which makes it slightly more obvious. But I don't know. Hopefully it'll have a massive picture of Shooty and people won't get confused. That's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on because the picture on iPlayer for the others is a picture of all 5 of them. So Eccleston, Tennant, Matt Smith, Capaldi and Jodie. I know I switch between first names and surnames. It's weird. So is this new one going to have a picture of David or David and Shooty or David at the moment and then Shooty after the Christmas special? I don't know. So I'm going to keep an eye on that because that picture did always change. Before it was the 5 of them, it was a picture from Flux with Jodie's doctor, Yaz and Dan. So we'll see what happens with that. And if you're international and can let me know what it looks like on Disney Plus at the moment. So thank you for listening to this ramble about what's going on. So if you've seen my community post from a few weeks ago, I said about what day of the week to upload on. Because I've been doing Saturdays. Saturdays aren't going to work for if I want to do a review of the episode. So I'm going to upload on Sundays for the next 3 weeks, at least. I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to do a review of every episode. So I don't like watching a programme planning to review it, because then I don't feel like I'm watching it, I'm planning a review. So I will be uploading something, probably Doctor Who related, next Sunday. It may be a review of Star Beast, and it may be another video, probably Doctor Who related, because let's be honest, that's where my head's at the moment. But other than that, thank you for watching. Bye.